everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna and this is On a Budget. Today we're going to close out our budget for December. So let's get started. We're going to start with doing our debt balances at the end of the month. So if you remember, last month we had those two credit cards with a balance of $850. Those were both paid off in December, so we do not have those. I'm going to go ahead and write down what the minimums were. It's going to be a zero balance. Minimum. I do not know the minimums actually, but let's just put 35. Chase, I believe, is $40 minimum. Then Best Buy, we still have a balance of $800. Interest rate is 0 right now. It's a interest-free promotion, but the minimum payment on that is $29. We have our cell phones, which have a new balance of $767. And I'm just going to put 70 as the minimum. It's just a payment every month. And then we have our truck. Which its new balance its new balance is $30,601, and its minimum payment is $607. So if you ever see in our payments we only have $600 going towards the truck, it's because I have a little balance saved in the account, and so I'm transferring $600 every month, but they're taking out $607. So I put a year's worth of payments of the $7 in that account for it, just to so I could do even numbers. I like even numbers, just in case you're wondering why that is different. So that brings our new debt balance to $32,168. So if we go down here to extra debt payments, we're going to put Capital One, and we paid off the $850. So I'm just going to do $850 minus the minimum and say that we paid an extra $815. For Chase, the minimum is $40. So that would mean we paid an extra $810. Best Buy, minimum is $29, but we paid $100 towards it, so we paid an additional $71. And then there were no extra payments towards cell phone or the truck. So if we add those together, we had a total debt payment. Oh, okay, hold on. So we need to do minimums plus our extra payments. So we had $2,470 go towards debt this month. So looking at our spreadsheet from last month, our last month's balance was $34,550. This month's new balance is $32,168. So if we subtract those two, gives us a decrease of $2,382. So what I like to do here is take the difference between these two numbers. So that tells you that $88 went towards the interest on the truck. So now overall debt progress. So this is going to start with our balance as of October. So our total debt we started with was $33,525, and then our balance this month is $32,168. So if I subtract those two numbers, that's a decrease of $1,357, and that's because we put more debt in November. And so let's look at our total monthly progress. So that's going to be it says 1 right here. Oh, A minus B equals 1. So 2382 divided by 33,525 is going to be 7%. And then on this one, overall, we'll do 1357 divided by 33,525. We're only at 4% overall. Okay. So now let's turn this over and we're going to list out our assets minus our liabilities. So last month our net worth was a negative $31,368.40. I'm going to leave off the change. And so now we want to list out all of our assets. So in our main checking account, we have $2,607. And then we have a savings account in that same bank that just has $100. We have a credit union checking account that just has $10. We have a credit union savings account that has $40. We have another credit union savings account that has $477 in it. We have the two high yield savings accounts that are with Capital One. So I'm just going to put 1, 2, and currently those have the same balance at $250. And then we have cash. So I did not take the Christmas money to the bank, so I used the bonus money we had in the checking account to just go ahead and pay off the credit card balances. So I do still have that Christmas cash with me. And so then we also have our $1,000 emergency fund in cash. And then we did receive some Christmas money in cash. So in total, we currently have $3,700 in cash. So if I add all of our assets up, let's see. We have $7,434. And do that again just to make sure. Yep, $7,434. And so then on our liabilities, you're just going to relist your debts. So Best Buy still has a balance of $800. Our cell phones have a balance of $767. And then our truck has a balance of $30,601. So for total debt, we're at $32,168. So our total net worth for December is a negative $24,734. So taking in last month's number minus this month's, we had a increase in net worth by $6,634. So divide that by last month's. So we had it change by 21%. Okay. Now, let's figure out where our money went to. So looking at our spending tracker, it's saying our starting balance. So this is going to be what was rolled over from last month, which was $716.60. For earned income, I'm only including what our paychecks were. So like our bonuses, I'm going to put in other income because it's just not money I'm going to like anticipate every December. So I want to put that into other income. Earned income, I want to draw in from actual hours worked, like salary and our pay. So earned income was $9,804.27, and this also includes that extra week of December pay that I had. So this is technically pretty high for what we're used to. And so other income is going to be our bonuses and then our cash redemptions on our credit cards. So we had other income of $2,475.50. Savings used. I'm going to put 0. So if I would have pulled our Christmas money and used that to pay off the credit card, I would have had that money here. But since I used the bonus, I technically still have this cash. So we didn't have any savings used. So our starting balance for income was $12,996.37. Okay. Now we're going to list out each one of our budget categories. So we have car expenses, which are basically car insurance and gas. And my car registration was actually due, so we did get a car inspection. So monthly for our car was $590.84. And this is typically where I only do food, gas, food, dining out, and household, because those are typically the ones that we actually overspend in. I don't have a budget for basically like our car expenses because to me it is what it is. So let's do Let's skip to groceries. And typically for groceries, I want to spend $150 a week, which would be $600 a month. And our grocery spending for this month was $706.96. So we were $106.96 over budget this month. So 706.96 divided by our monthly inflow. This was about 5% of our budget. Dining out, I would like to only spend $80 every 2 weeks, so $40 every week. So 40 times 4, that'd be $160. $160 a month eating out. And oh, this is such a pain. Our eating out for the month was $779.88. So we were $620 over budget. Ugh. So divide that by our inflow, and that was 6% of our budget. So household spending, I like to budget about $400 a month, and we spent $386.73. So we were actually under budget in this category by $13.27. And that's only 2% of our budget. That's it for that sheet. Now we will do our debt versus savings. So this is the new sheets that from what I was using from last month. So she changed this in her newer version. So now debt has total monthly inflow and savings has total monthly income. So for debt, our total monthly inflow would be the whole $12,996. And then for savings, we would only want to use the $98.04. So total monthly debt payoff was the $24.70. So 19% of our income went towards debt. And for savings, we only saved $330. So that was about 3% of our income. So we paid off Capital One. We paid off the Chase card. We put $70 towards cell phones. Best Buy, we put $100 towards. And then the truck, we had $600 towards. So $850 divided by $24.70 is 34%. 70 divided by the 24.70 is, let's just round it to 3%. 100 divided by, it's about 4%. So about 25% for the truck. So that makes sense because we wanted to get these 2 credit cards paid off. And then the truck, just the minimum payment alone is more than these 2. So that sounds about right for where our debt priorities are. For savings, it was the high yield savings account, since I had 3 deposits in December. That was $300 towards savings. I think last month I broke these out, so this technically should have been 2 high yield savings, so $150 went into each account, which would have split this up, but that's okay. And then the $30, I'm not exactly sure. I have $100 in our savings accounts, but it didn't come out as that, so I'm just going to put that we saved $30 towards sinking funds, which would be the last 10%. So now this is where we're going to list out our excuse me, our November spending versus December spending. So our monthly inflow change. So last month for November, we had a total monthly income of $89.71. And this month we had $12,996. So we had an increase of $4,000.25. So let's list out our budget categories. So for car, we spent $609 last month. Let me go ahead and write out our categories, and then I'll come back and do the totals. Okay, let's add these up. So that's $10,290. Now, if we do our rollover from what is in our checking account, that was $2,607. This should equal what our total inflow was. $12,897. I'm off $100. Let's do the math again. That is probably the $100 that's in that other savings account. I must have included it. In my remaining balance, so we have a difference of 0 then. $12.97, $12.97 minus the change. So that shows you where our money went to. So if we do the change from last month to this month, we can do 423 minus 591, went down 168. Christmas went up 1,100. Debt went up 850. That is the Chase card. The other 850 I broke out into our actual spending. So some of this money was not actual spending in December. It was us paying for our spending in November. So by paying off the Chase card, we should be clean going forward. So in January, we'll actually be paying for our January expenses, which is the main reason why I wanted to go ahead and pay off the Chase card, so that we didn't have any of that rollover happening again. So our giving went up by $159. Groceries went up by $150. Looks like our home spending stayed about the same. We have been sick, so medical went up. My personal spending went up. Baby's expenses went down. My husband's spending went up. That is one thing about, you know, being so strict during the year. We do relatively no spending throughout the year, and by the end of the year, we are feeling restricted and tend to binge. And so that's why I'm contemplating giving us an allowance. Obviously that won't happen right away since my husband is looking for a new position, but we may consider giving ourselves an allowance next year. So car expenses went down by $168. Christmas went up $1,100. Debt payoff went up $850. Dining out should have gone up $235, which is, that's our biggest problem area, is dining out. Entertainment went up almost $200. Giving went up $159. Groceries went up $148. Home expenses went up $33. Medical went up $53. My personal spending up $86. The baby's down by $300. My husband's up by $83. Preschool, we didn't give them our second check for December because the baby was out the last month of December. So January will have an increase in preschool expenses. And then savings went down $470. So we can go ahead and highlight our high spending. Savings, we didn't save as much, so I'm going to highlight that red. And then for our good areas, car expenses went down. We paid off extra debt. Our giving went up. We spent less on our son, and preschool went down, and our last month's charges were down. So that is our budget recap for December. So thank you for watching this video. We will do a budget for our first January paycheck next week. And so I will talk to you then. Thank you again. Bye.